Hey guys, welcome back. Last week, thank goodness, of the Open, and what a doozy it is, a new format that we've never seen before in the CrossFit Open, and so let me tell you what the workout is. So it's 4 time, 40 ring muscle ups, 80 cal row, and 120 wall ball shots. Now the caveat is you can break it up however you want. So you could go straight through 40, 80, 120, or you could do 4, 8, 12 for 10 rounds. Do whatever you want. So that's kind of the mystique of this workout. So when this came out, what was kind of your instant thoughts?
Super pumped that you have the ability to partition and mix and match however you please. Mm-hmm. And I like that because it's an added element to where for an athlete, you're typically put in a box of this is expected of how you do things. Yeah. And this time they can actually go, no, I'm going to take the horse by the reins and rock it. So
yeah, and I think it'll definitely benefit the athlete that really knows themselves with these movements and the combination of the movements to kind of game plan what would be the best approach, you know, with partitioning and where they, you know, kind of bias the workout for them, which we'll talk about in the avatars. But yeah, definitely a twist. It's like your mind can go forever on like, well, what should I do?
Right.
Should I do this and that?
Yep.
And at the end of the day, like you're gonna have to do the work. And so this will be a fun one to see how it pans out. But let's get into, well, before I do that, the athletes who went this night, there was actually a lot of them, but the ones we watched specifically was Pat Vellner and Annie Thorisdottir. And Pat Vellner did it in 11:14, which I believe will be a very fast time for males. There might be some that get under 11 minutes, but that's like very high end. That's my guess. And then Annie did it in 13:49, which is a great score for a female. And I feel like that will be competitive. I'm sure there will be some that are faster, but both very high-end scores for this test. So you want to go through the prep we got?
So warm up, same structure as the 4 previous weeks. Our general prep here is just to get the aerobic base going, get some enzymes flowing, core temp up, and get some sweat. For our dynamic prep, we want to isolate the hips, T-spine, and we definitely want to be opening up the lats and overhead, especially for the ring swings. For a CP hit, I want you guys to build up to a hang squat clean, build to a moderate, tough set of 2, less than 8 minutes. Really hit something that jazzes you up, gets you excited to start to go after this workout. And then for the specific prep, you're gonna go through 2 to 4 sets at your game pace. So after the second set, just assess if you feel like you're heightened enough to go to battle, go into the workout. But if you need some longer, if you need more time spent in the warm-up realm, then I would push into the 3rd and 4th set of that. And then after the specific prep, you're going right into 20.5. And for our cool down, don't forget 20-minute flush on the flywheel bike, down regulate, and don't skip it.
Yes, definitely. So we'll go into avatars. I'll be honest, like trying to think of this is like, I'll just go insane because everyone's going to need a different strategy potentially, and it's just, there's so much that you can think about with this. So. Hashtag.
Gotta say this week's hashtag.
Okay, this week's hashtag partition like a pro.
PLP!
With this. So we kind of broke it into 3 groups based on your AMRAP unbroken muscle up set. So we had 3 groups. One, Avatar 1 would be the most advanced, which would be 15 to 30 unbroken, maybe more, ring muscle ups. So in this group, you're kind of, I don't want to say biasing, but you're pushing the muscle ups a little bit more. So Pat Vellner was a great example because he can do, I believe, up to 30 plus unbroken muscle ups. And so the front end of the workout, he was doing a lot of muscle ups in big sets with wall balls, and then was intermixing the row, and it obviously played out pretty well for him. So we're assuming that this approach could be a great strategy for people who have the capacity for big sets of muscle ups unbroken. And we put in kind of a breakdown of that in the guide, and I'm not going to go through it all specifically, but it biases bigger muscle up sets up front, we can say it from that perspective. And then you go into avatar group number 2, and this is a group that's 5 to 14 unbroken. So now you have to be a little bit more strategic with your muscle up breaking up, because if the sets are too big, it could add too much cumulative fatigue on the shoulders for the wall balls, and now you're slowing down. You can't do bigger sets of wall balls. So we put in one potential strategy of breaking it up where you're kind of intermixing muscle-ups and wall balls in shorter sets, and with the row on the back end and doing rounds of that, that could be a good strategy to use. And then, of course, Avatar 3 would be those that are in the 1 to 5 unbroken muscle-up range. So for you guys, the goal is, you're trying to finish the workout, and you're going to want to put some time on the front end to get as many muscle-ups as you can, and then stop, and then put in, as much effort as you can to get through all the wall balls in row. And then if you have time left in the end, you try to get some more muscle-ups. But your goal is that you're trying to get all of the row and wall balls done, and then get as many muscle-ups as you can when you're fresh, and that's potentially going to give you your best score. So we put in a couple breakdowns for you guys. There was also another breakdown I put in there where you're going kind of in a circuit of muscle-up, wall ball, row for rounds, which could work for some, it might not for others. But the previous strategy I mentioned might be a better play for you guys. But yeah, this one's, it's cool that you get to kind of figure out like what you want to do, but that's the hard part too, is you can get very uncertain with what's the best approach for you, and at the end of the day, you're going to have to make a decision, you're going to have to stick to it and execute as best as possible on that. And you can redo this one, even if you are top end and you're going to do the whole thing. If you have the volume built, you can definitely do this twice. 3 times would be aggressive. 120 muscle-ups is a lot, but most people can do this twice and potentially do better by making a subtle change with their strategy. But yeah, it's kind of what I got for avatars.
Yeah, guys, and some final notes, just for some highlights to focus on whatever group you sit in. Keep your output high on the rower and don't use that as a rest. That's going to help you carry your score. Secondly, stay in control of the muscle-ups and break before you fatigue. The last thing you want to do is go too deep on that one rep, and then you're wasting a lot of time waiting to recover. And then lastly, for the third note, no missed reps on the wall balls. So this is, we'll call it a simple skill within the sport here, and you shouldn't be missing those reps because it's going to eat up the time in the back end for you.
Definitely, yeah. No. Well, best of luck. Finish strong. It's the last week, and we'll see you on the other side.